Welcome to the Life After Plus One podcast, where we turn life's lemons into delightful lemonade. Get ready for inspiring stories, uplifting conversations, and all the tips and tricks to rock your single parent journey with style. I'm your host, Leanne, and it's time to embrace the adventure of Life After Plus One. So, let's dive in. Hello, I'm Leanne, your podcast host, your single parent mentor and coach. Today, I want to talk about a topic that just can get the better of us. And it's when it all gets too much. And it happens. It happens a lot, and it can easily happen when we're doing it all on our own. It's overwhelming, it's tiring, it's exhausting, it's mentally and emotionally draining. It can take a financial toll on you. It's just everything rolled into one. What do you do and how do you cope with this when it all just gets too much and you're just at the point of fuck it, I just can't do this anymore? Now, one thing you do need to remember is you're not alone if you are feeling like this. We all go through it. We all have these feelings where you feel like you're drowning and you just can't keep up, and then you finally start to get ahead and you finally start to see something good. And then the next minute, something comes and shits on you again. It's like, holy fuck, give me a fucking break. And that is one of the hardest things about being a single parent, the emotional and mental stress of it all. And we're taking it all on ourselves. We don't have someone that we can sit down to at night and talk to. And when it's all just getting too much, we just need to just vent and get it off our chest. We don't have that. You may have a good friend that you can call up, and I really hope you do in a situation like this. But having someone to rely on when you get home from one of those shitty days and you just feel like everything is fucked and you're just over it and you just want someone to talk to. And that's what makes it so much harder as a single parent, because you can't just go home and just stop and go, not cooking dinner tonight, not doing that. Well, you can if you get takeaway, which I'm sure many of us have done. There's been many occasions where I've got home and I'm like, hell no, I am not cooking tonight. And we all have those days. We all have them. And that's just it. As a single parent, we don't have that emotional support. We don't have that physical support. We don't have that financial support when it's all just got too much for us. And we're just like, fuck, I just need a fucking break. Leave me the fuck alone. And it relates to every aspect. You might be finally getting ahead with your finances and you're finally looking good. The next minute, your car's due for a service and that's a few $100s, or some random medical bills, or some other large expense that you haven't budgeted for because it's not something you normally need to spend on. And you're ahead of your expenses, or you're finally looking good. And then this comes up. It's like, fuck, I just want to be able to put some money aside, or I just want to try and get ahead. Why do I keep getting fucking shitted on? Or it could be your child refusing to go to the other parent's house when they're normally meant to be there because something's happened and they're not happy or they want a bit of a break. So that gives you the extra stress of you don't get that clock off time. You don't get time off to yourself. And some people might think, well, lucky you, you're a single parent, you get a break. Well, fuck no, we don't get a break because we don't have anyone helping us during the week. We're doing all that workload on our own. Even just little things like fucking checking the mail and taking the bins out. We don't have people helping with that. It might be something minor, but fuck it. Putting the bins out, still got to get done. Doesn't happen on its own. Checking the car, putting water in the car, cleaning it, doing the lawns, anything, taking the rubbish out. It's all got to get done. We don't have people helping us with that. We just don't fucking stop. So when people look at single parents and go, lucky you, you get a fucking break. No, we don't get a fucking break. And so when we lose that opportunity of our kids going to the other parents on the weekend that they're meant to be there, on the night that they're meant to be there, and then they're now choosing to stay with us or with the other parent, so then we don't get that break that we normally do get. And in addition to that, it adds an extra financial stress onto you, because then there's extra money that you're now having to spend on the kids that maybe you hadn't budgeted for because they were meant to be at the other parent's house. And like for myself, in my situation, I had a couple of nights last week where my daughter decided to wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning because she couldn't sleep. And that again, it's just things like that. As a primary carer, these are things that we deal with on a regular basis. We can't just roll over and say, oh, honey, can you go check the kids? Or can you go check that? It's all on us. And it gets to a point where you sometimes feel like you're just drowning and you just want to say, leave me the fuck alone. I'm just trying to catch up, just trying to get ahead. And every time you try to make a bit of headway, something just comes and shits on you. So these are the common factors that do cause a lot of stress and overwhelm in the life of a single parent. Financial stresses, mental, emotional, the pressure of it all can get too much at times. Especially if you don't have anyone helping you and if you're doing it all on your own. It's quite easy to get to a point, it's like, fuck, I'm just drowning here. Can someone help me? You're trying to play balancing act. You're trying to pay for everything on your own and get ahead and trying to keep that smile on your face. And it's difficult. It is difficult because we do have our moments where it can be great and everything can be sunshine and roses and you can be feeling really positive. But then there's also days where we have the complete opposite. Not every day is going to be a positive, happy day. We do have our shit days as single parents. There are days where you just wake up and you think, fuck, I'd really like to just stay in bed right now. But unfortunately, got to get up and you got to keep going. But it's super important that when you're feeling like this, you don't neglect how you're feeling. You don't just put them to the back burner because your feelings are valid. And especially if you're feeling really overwhelmed and exhausted and lost and confused and just unsure of where your life's going to be 7 days from now or maybe even 1 day from now because everything is just going to the shit. You're just like, holy fuck, what is happening? As difficult as it is in this moment, it's super important to stop and just switch off. You can't just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. Eventually, your battery's going to go flat. You need to stop and recharge. And the thing is, as a single parent, how the hell do you do that? How do you make time to do that? Even the factor of finding money to do something to be able to step back and recharge. Going on a holiday these days is a luxury for many people. That's something that not many people can just turn around and say, okay, I've had enough. Let's just go away this weekend. Not many people are in a position where they can do that, especially as single parents. So how the fuck do you get through it all? What do you do? Like, I can't just switch off. I can't just go on a holiday. I can't just turn everything off. I've got to look after my kids. How the hell am I supposed to fucking stay sane when I just don't get a fucking break? Now, here's the challenging part in it all. You need to find a break. You need to find a way and some time to switch off. That's a must. Because if you keep going and keep going and keep going, you're going to erupt at some point. Whether it be with your kids, with a friend, with your family, it'll come out in some way. There will be some form of breakdown at some point if you don't eventually stop. You need to stop and recharge. And to do that, you've got to find time for yourself. And you're thinking, how the fuck do I do that when I don't have any time? And that's just it. And this is one thing that we all need to remember. Every single one of us here has the same amount of time in the day. There's not some people that get extra time. Those people that are off living in their lives of luxury, they don't have extra hours in the day. Some people may have got there with help from their family. Some people may have built that on their own. And they didn't have extra hours in the day. They did that by working hard and working smart. So how do you prioritize time for you? You need to be smart with how you're using your time. You need to make it a conscious effort to allocate time for yourself, even if it's just 10 minutes a day. Just 10 minutes to switch off and step away from all responsibility, because it's a lot. It's a lot. And I know for me personally, I'm terrible at getting back to text messages or any kind of messages for that matter. I'm terrible. And most of my friends know that. They'll message me and it's very unlikely that they'll get a reply straight away. Because the thing is, I just feel like sometimes I've got so much on my plate. And unless it's not an easy yes or no answer, it's something I've actually got to think about, then that gets put on the list of things for me to do. Because I'm already thinking about a million other things already, a million other messages I've got to reply to. million other things I've got to go and sort out. It takes 2 seconds to respond to a message. Yes, I understand that. But then it might take 2 seconds to do this other task. But you put all these tasks together, it's a fucking lot. So that's one thing that I've learned to doing myself. I never respond to messages straight away unless it's an easy yes or no or sure, no worries, easy kind of message. If it's something where I've actually got to think about it or work out if I'm available or work out a reply, then it's not going to happen straight away because I've got enough going through my head. And when you're stressed as it is and you're trying to sort out so much in your life, don't put that extra pressure on you. And that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned. It's not necessary to respond to messages straight away. It's not. And even if it's a text message and they know that you have your phone in your hand all the time or you carry your phone with you all the time, then if they're going to get hurt because you're not responding to them straight away, then they need to learn to be respectful of your time. They need to learn to respect that you're a single parent and you're busy and you've got priorities. Yes, they are a priority, but so are your kids, and so is feeding your kids, and so are paying your bills, and so is everything else that you do. So yes, they are a priority, but you've got a lot of priorities. And keeping a roof over your head and paying your bills and feeding your kids and washing your kids and doing whatever, that's a priority too. And they should not shut that down because their ego is a little hurt because you didn't respond to them straight away. Now, most of my friends understand where I'm at now. They don't get upset. They don't get hurt if I don't respond to them straight away. It can sometimes take a couple of days for me to respond to messages. My mum even sometimes has a go at me. Are you ignoring me? No, Mum, I'm not ignoring you. I've just got a lot on my plate. And she gets it. Eventually, I'll give her a call back in the next couple of days. She hears from me. I don't ignore her completely, but I don't always get back straight away. And that's one thing you've got to do when you've got so much on your plate and everything is just so overwhelming and you're trying to take on so much. Step back from trying to focus on what everyone else needs from you. And that means holding back on responding to messages straight away. If it's not urgent, then leave it. Leave it. Start putting your needs first. Start focusing on what you need. And by constantly answering messages from everyone else, you're looking after what they need. Your needs are just as important. And I'm sure your friends, who are good friends, will be respectful of that. I've had people in my life who weren't and didn't like that. They're not in my life anymore. And I'm okay with that. But your good friends will understand that and be respectful of you, and they will be respectful of your time, and they will be respectful of how much you're doing on your own. So when you're overwhelmed and your eyeballs are falling out of your head, that is one place to start. Just step back and stop worrying about the outside noise. Stop worrying about responding to everyone's messages. And here's another thought. Stop worrying about social media. Because sadly, that's one of the biggest things that messes with your head when you're in this phase, when you're going through this period of overwhelm and it's all getting too much. Because you get there, because you keep going, because you're trying to portray this image of being a nice, happy, perfect home. And even if you're not going for that perfect home look, you're trying to keep up with everyone else. You're trying to be happy. You're trying to do everything. But do you need to keep up with that social media expectation? Because that's not reality. Like you see all these reels that are going around lately, Instagram versus reality. Because there definitely needs to be one of those that's about single parenting. And maybe I should look at doing that. Because it's not just lounging around watching reality shows and doing our lips and manicures and whatever else, and then doing school pickup and school drop off. That's not what single parenting is about. Single parenting is we don't stop. We don't stop. That's the reality, not the social media perception of single parenting, where they just sit around and wait for their Centrelink check. Maybe there are a small portion of people out there that do that, but I guarantee you it's very minimal. That's not the reality. So when you're feeling so overwhelmed, step away from social media. Step away from the unexpected, or I should say, the unrealistic expectations of what we should and shouldn't be doing as parents. Step away from that because everyone's world is different. Everyone's work schedule is different. Everyone's budget and finances is different. You need to control or work your life around your schedule, around your work, around your finances, and around your support network. not around social media and not around what social media expects of us and how we should look. And do you know what? If need be, go through and do a cull on your social media, on your friends, on your followers, on whatever. If you've got people that are just bringing bad energy to you, that are making you feel like you're not good enough, that are not giving you the positive support that you need in your life, then do you know what? Do you need them on your Facebook page? Are they really your friends? Are they there for you when you need them? Or are they just creating more stress to your life? Now, this in itself is not so much a factor of when we're run down and when we've just got so much on our plates as a single parent and when we're just fucking over it all. But the whole constant judgment and comparing ourselves and looking at what everyone else is doing and feeling like we're not getting the support we need from our friends, that has a huge role in our mental health and our emotional health and the way we feel about ourselves. And if we feel like we've got friends there that are not supporting us and are not there for us, then it does affect us and it does bring us down and it does affect our mood. And these all little factors and all little things that are happening, it all piles up, it all adds up, and eventually, boom, it all gets too much. You might be feeling like your friends aren't there for you. You might be feeling like you've got to be this perfect mother or father, and all of a sudden this bill comes in, then all of a sudden something happens here, and then it all just, boom, it piles up, and you all feel like, fuck, it's all just too much. It's all these little things that are happening, and it all just adds up. So when you're feeling like this, get rid of any negative shit from your life that's not making you feel good. And if it's people on your social media, if it's people that you're associating with, they're not making you feel good, then why are you associating with them? You need people in your life that are going to bring you up, that are going to make you feel good. And take, for example, for me, I spoke to 2 good friends today at 2 different occasions about things that I'm going through. And it's so good to speak to them because both of them that I spoke to gave 2 totally different perspectives on something that I didn't see from my situation, because when you're in it, you don't see it. But then when you talk to friends about things, they're like, so true. Why didn't I think of that? And they're like, because you weren't in that headspace. You've just got a lot on your plate. You didn't think of it like that. And it's so easy from where I am to help other people, to offer other people advice and to support other people. But when you're in it, it's easy to not see in yourself. And that's why everyone in the world, no matter if you're a sports person, no matter if you're a CEO, everyone has coaching of some sort. Everyone has someone in their lives to help them do better. And it's easy to neglect ourselves because you're too busy trying to help everyone else. So that's why it's so important with the people that are in your life. Need to be quality people that are going to lift you up. Because you don't want to be going through these shit periods and shit times where you feel like crap and you don't have people in your life to check in on you, or you don't have people in your life that you can talk to or offer you that valuable advice where you're like, fuck, why did I not see it like that? That's so true. And just after those 2 phone calls, which they weren't phone calls to talk about things that are just terrible in my life, they were about, one of them actually wasn't a phone call, one was in person. So it's so important when you're feeling run down and you're feeling like you're drowning and everything's getting on top of you, to have valuable friends in your life or quality friends that you can talk to and give you the advice and support you need. You don't want people that are going to judge you. You don't want people to go, oh no, fuck, I wouldn't do that. No, don't do that. You don't want people that are going to be negative. You want someone that's going to support you. None of this tall poppy syndrome bullshit where people are just jealous because you're doing good. People don't like it when people are doing better than them, so they won't support you. They won't help you out. You don't want people like that. You want people that are not in your life to compete with you. You want people that are in your life to support you, and vice versa. You've got to do the same back for them. So remember, when you're drowning and it's all getting too much, you need a good support network. And as a single parent, we don't necessarily have that time where we can drop things and organize a girl catch up or a guy catch up or whatever it is. So maybe it is a phone call. Maybe it's a morning coffee, whatever you can fit in. Having a chat with someone when you're feeling swamped and you're drowning is so important. You can't take all of this on yourself. You need to let it out. And you may not have done anything different, but just talking to a friend and they can let you see your situation from a different perspective It makes a massive difference. Because when you're in that headspace of I'm drowning, everything's fucked, there's no light at the end of the tunnel, that's all you're going to see. It's hard to find the good in the situation where that's all you're constantly focusing on. But if you can speak to a good friend that is positive and is supportive, then they're going to give you that kind of positive and supportive advice. And then you'll finish talking to them. It's like, yes, that's what I needed. And it's not that bad. Just having a shit day. Having a shit day is totally normal. If there's anyone out there that tells you they don't have shit days, then I can tell you now they're fucking lying. We all have shit days. All of us have shit days. But you just don't want those days to turn into weeks and months and years. Have a shit day. Have a shit 2 days if need be. But don't take it further than that. Deal with it. And I'm not just saying deal with it by fucking brushing off your feelings and acting like what you're going through is nothing. Because what you're going through is valid. If you're feeling shit and overwhelmed, your feelings are totally valid. But don't stew in it for too long. Feel it, talk about it, and find a way to focus your attention back on the positive. And as I was just saying, if that means removing people from your social media that aren't making you feel good about yourself, then do it. If you're following pages or if you're in groups that are just constant negative memes and making fun of people that you don't find funny, get rid of them. Delete them, remove those groups, unfollow, whatever. Do what you got to do to encourage a positive lifestyle. And if it means getting rid of all that negative shit on social media, then do it. If you don't want to do that, then step away from social media for a bit. Step away from it. If you don't have a business page and you don't have a reason to be on social media on a regular basis, then step away. There's no need. And reassess your friend groups. Are your friend groups there when you need them, or are they only there when they need you? Are your friend groups there to support you, or do you feel like they're constantly trying to one-up you and they're trying to compete with you? Because if that's the case, are they really a friend? So make sure you've got those people in your life that are going to make you feel good, because that's what you need when you're feeling like you're drowning. And also, try and allocate some sort of time frame where you can give it to yourself, whether it's to stop and just sit in silence for 10-15 minutes. Just sit in quiet. Think about things. Think about where you're at. Think about why you're so upset, why you're so stressed, why you're so worried. Write things down if need be, because it's so easy to get in that pattern of go, where we don't actually stop and think, well, hold on, why am I so stressed? Why am I so worried about this? Because when you're going, all those whys behind of what you're doing gets lost. So when you actually take a moment to stop and think, okay, why am I so worried about this? I'm going paid next week. I can sort that bill out then. That's fine. I've got all that sorted. Do I need to be this stressed about it? So when you can actually take some time out for yourself just to think and get your thoughts in line and write things out if need be. Sit down and go, write a list of what is on your mind and what is worrying you the most. Work it out. And then work out a little action plan. What can you do? What steps can you take to sort out these things that are stressing you the most? Is it a bill that's coming up? Is it that you just don't have enough time to get the kids to the activities? Is it that you just feel like you don't stop? Is it you're just sick of cooking dinner? What is it? Write it all out. Anything that's pissing you off and making you feel so overwhelmed and so anxious and so like the fact that you're just drowning, write it out so you can sit there and look at it and go, yeah, okay, fuck, that's what it is. And then work out a plan of what you can do to resolve these things. If it's a bill you're stressed about, then work out your budget, work out how you can maybe pay it off in plans. Call up the provider, whoever it is, ask if you can make it a payment plan with them. There's always ways around things, but when you get so caught up in the moment with so much going on, it's so focused on the big picture, which is I'm drowning, that you forget to just step back and look at everything individually. So take a moment to look at these little things that's causing you to feel like you're drowning. What is it? What's happening? And what's one thing you can do that can move you in a positive direction? One step from each of these things that's stressing you out. What's one thing you can do that you can maybe just cross off your list and go, yep, okay, that's sorted. Even if it's just to make a phone call to a provider. Even if it's just to Get someone to pick your kid up from school. Whatever it is, write a list. Like, I've got the craziest list that you've ever seen, just little things that I need to do. And it makes a difference because it's just a little thing. Like, I've got to call someone about this. I've got to write an email to someone. I've got a list of these people that I need to email. And they're not big things, but that's just what I've got to do because I've got so much that I need to do. I write all this down because otherwise I get so overwhelmed. Oh, fuck, I've got all this I've got to do. And I've got so much I've got to do, I can't even think. Write it all down and then cross it off. And just remember, we're all human. We're not robots. We can't go at full speed every single day. We've got to slow down. We've got to unwind. We've got to take a break. And if it's a simple thing as you just don't have the energy to cook dinner, then don't cook dinner. So just remember, when you're feeling overwhelmed, start looking after your needs. Step back and do something that can make you feel good in yourself. And even if it's just forcing yourself to go to the gym. I know sometimes when you feel shit and it's like, you know what's the last thing I want to do? I don't want to go work out. But sometimes don't think of it like you're going to the gym because you want to go bulk up or you want to go lose 20 kilos, even though that's maybe what you want to do. Go to the gym because that makes you feel good. That's it. That's why I go to the gym. I don't care about what I look like anymore. Well, I do care, but I don't worry about my weight. I don't worry about what size I am. It's not my end goal in life to have a perfect figure. I'm happy in myself and that's all that matters. If I lose weight, then great. If I don't, great. I'm happy either way. But I do go to the gym and I do love to walk and I do love to be active, but I do love my wine and I do like my food. So it evens itself out. But I go to the gym because it makes me feel good. And quite often I'll bump into someone there that I know and we have a good chat and that makes me feel good. So it's a win-win. So use being active not as a way because, you know, being active is easy to get labelled as in the category of being a fitness junkie. Don't use it in that sense if you don't want to, if it doesn't make you feel good. Use it in the sense of just that. But working out makes you feel good. And that's just a known fact. It does. It gets us going. It gets all the right things pumping. That's, and it does after a workout, whatever you've done, it'll make you feel good. And just remember, don't force yourself to do something. If you really hate the gym, it's just not your jam, then find some sort of active activity that you do enjoy doing, whether it's yoga, whether it's swimming. I love swimming. I will quite often go down to the local pool and swim laps because it makes me feel good. Some days I'll go and swim 10 laps. Some days I'll go and swim 60. It just depends. Mind you, it's a 25-meter pool. But it always makes me feel good. And I don't go there to be competitive. I don't go there to compete with the other people in the other lanes. I go there because it makes me feel good after it. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. And you've got to find that time. Find that time. Even if you work in an office and you get an hour lunch break, can you run out and squeeze in some sort of activity in that lunch break? And maybe when you get back, you can sit down and have your lunch at your desk. Maybe go for a walk in your lunch break. Go for a walk with a work colleague, someone you work with, and have that social interaction at the same time. You're getting social and talking to someone about your problems, as well as being active. So you're killing two birds in one stone. Find some way to do something. If you don't work every day, if maybe on some days you work from home or you have certain days off, then use those days to maybe find something to do. And if you don't have time, realistically, there's no excuse. Most of us have access to YouTube or to some sort of streaming service where we can access yoga, Pilates. You can access any type of workout program just on our standard TVs these days. You don't even have to go anywhere. We all pretty much have streaming services and YouTube. They are available. You can do it from home. I like to go to the gym and do it. I'm someone that just can't work out at home. But if you don't have the time to go to a gym, or maybe you can't afford a membership, which, as is understandable as a single parent, do it from home. Do it from your lounge room. Wake up half an hour, 45 minutes earlier before the kids do, and do it in the lounge room. Do it at night time once they've gone to bed. Find the time. Maybe you can allocate 10 or 15 minutes after school drop off and just go sit somewhere quietly. Go have a coffee to yourself. When you're feeling swamped and you're feeling like you're drowning and you're feeling like everything has just got too much, one thing you need to remember what you've got to do is the complete opposite of what you're doing now, which is stop. You've got to just stop and step back and look at your situation from an outsider's point of view. Because at the moment, you're running at 1,000,000 miles an hour and you're going to crash and burn at some point. You're going to crash and burn. Because we do take on a lot as single parents. We take on a lot. And quite often, we don't have people helping us. Quite often, people are too proud to ask for help. Sometimes we just don't have people near us that can help us. So it's not an option to ask for help because we don't have family around. You may have friends around, but they're just as busy in their own lives. But use them where you can. Use them where you can, whether it's for school activities, school pick up and drop off, whether it's they live near you, they can run up to the supermarket and get something for you when they're going up. Use them where you can. But the biggest advice I can give when you feel like you're just fucking sinking and there's no light at the end of the tunnel and you're just doing everything you can to make your life better, but you just keep feeling like you're drowning and everything just gets thrown at you. You're just getting hit left, right, and center. You're like, holy fuck, when is this going to end? Do you know what? It'll end when you stop. When you stop and reflect on your situation. Take a look at it and look at why you're so stressed. Look at all the little factors that are happening that are causing you to get so worked up. And another thing, if you don't have a good support group or you don't have a group of friends that you feel like you can rely on, or maybe they're just people that don't understand your situation. Maybe you do have good friends, but they're not single parents and you feel like if you talk to them about your situation, they just don't get it because they're not single parents. Reach out to some of those Facebook groups. There are so many Facebook groups out there for single parents. Jump on, have a vent. A lot of them are great for that. You can just get on, ask for a bit of support or some advice, and they will be quite supportive and they will make a difference. Now, please remember, don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. That light at the end of the tunnel, it's there. It's there. It's just hiding. And whilst you're in that headspace of everything's fucked, it's all hard, I can't do this, nothing fucking goes my way, you're not going to see that light because you're too busy focusing on the negative. So when you're panicked like this and overwhelmed and run down and everything's just going to the shit, stop. Just stop and look at everything that is going to the shit and ask yourself, one, is it worth getting this stressed over? Because usually it's a whole lot of little things that are piled up that have caused you to erupt. And these little things, when you're looking at from the outside, you probably just think, well, fuck, that's not worth getting upset about. And maybe it all started from when you woke up in the morning and then you were just about to leave to go to work and then you went to brush your teeth and then your electric toothbrush was flat and you're like, holy fuck, you can't brush your teeth properly with an electric toothbrush when it's flat. And then you're leaving and then your keys weren't in the normal spot and you're running around looking for the keys. Then all of a sudden you realize that you hadn't signed something for your kids. They needed something signed for school. You forgot to do that. So you got to stop, pull it out of the bag. You got to get that signed. And then you rush off, do school pickup. And then maybe get home from work. And you got a bill in the letterbox, which is something that you weren't planning for. You had no idea that was coming. And then you start cooking dinner. And then you realize that something that you needed for dinner, you didn't have. So you got to run back out to the supermarket. Even though you don't want to, but you don't have help, you've got to run back out, you've got to do that. You get to the supermarket, you've got to pay for it, you realize, fuck, I forgot my phone, because let's be honest, that's how we all pay these days. And you get back, got to drive back home, get your phone, go back, pay for it because you don't have any other way to do it. And you got the kids screaming and yelling and going off their head because they don't want to have to go back and forth to the supermarket, but you don't have anyone to watch them. So you got to drag them with you, get back home, start cooking dinner. Then the kids are running amok and it all just piles up. And then you just flip your lid. You go off at the kids. You're like, I can't fucking take this anymore. Now, really, in hindsight, if you look back at all that, they're not that big of an issue. Toothbrush, your phone, leaving it home when you go to the supermarket. I've done that a couple of times. Actually, no, I've gone to pay quite a few times and it's gone flat just as I've gone to pay. So you've got to sit in the car on charge, wait for it to come back on so you can pay. This is the fucking downside of not carrying a wallet anymore. But all of those things are not big issues. Mind you, there are other things that we can go through in life that are much bigger than that. But the majority of the time when we get to a space where we're just fucking over it all is a whole lot of little things that have happened that's just caused us to erupt. Because we're doing it all on our own. And then at the end of that fucky day where everything's just gone to the shit, which hasn't really, it's not that big of a deal. But in the day, you just want to sit down and talk to someone. And you've got no one to talk to but your kids and they're not going to listen. They don't want to hear about your shit day. And then you feel like you got no one there listening to you. And then you feel like you're on your own and you've fucking got no one supporting you. And then it's just spirals. I hear you. Single fucking parent life. But you're not on your own. That's what you've got to remember. And it's not that bad. You've just got to take it one step at a time. Focus on one thing at a time. And it's so easy to get in that habit of you've got so much to do. So you just try and do it all at once. So just remember, when you're going through this and you're feeling like everything's just going to the shit house, step back and focus on one thing at a time. One thing at a time. And if you're cooking that meal and you don't have the item that you needed to cook dinner and you can't be fucked to go in the supermarket, kids, we're having toast tonight. We're having 2-minute noodles. You don't have to be the perfect fucking parent that cooks a perfect fucking meal every night, sets a perfect beautiful table. No. There's no shame in having an easy dinner because you can't be fucked cooking or you've had a shit day or you don't have the ingredients that you need. That's okay. So just remember, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't try and be perfect. Don't try and please other people that don't need pleasing. Don't try and compete with anyone else on social media. And don't worry about the opinions of people that aren't quality friends or supportive people in your life. When you're feeling shit, get rid of any negativity. Speak to people who are going to be supportive and going to offer you good advice that's going to make you feel better. You don't want to speak to people that when you're finished talking, that you're like, well, fuck, I really wanted to talk to them about what I was going through, but all we spoke about was their fucking day or their dog or their next door neighbor. I wanted to fucking be able to speak about what I've been going through. Well, next time maybe ask them, hey, listen, I want to talk about my day and I need some advice. I need you to help me. Or if there's someone that's just not going to help, they're just not on board, then maybe you need to reassess your friend group. Because you want good friends that see when you're going to the shit and you want them to help you when you are and be there for you when you are. And when you don't have people that are understanding of your single parent situation and you feel like they're not the right people to ask you for advice or for you to ask them for advice when you're going through this, then jump onto those support groups on Facebook. Or jump onto the Life After Plus One website and let's have a chat. But there's people out there that can help you. You're never alone. And it's very easy to think that when you're in that single parent mind frame. I'm fucking alone. I've got no one. I've got no one here to help me. I'm doing everything on my own. It's easy to get in that headspace. And you're not the only one that is in that headspace. I can tell you that now. But you're not alone. There are people. You've just got to find them and you've got to ask for it. Unfortunately, they don't just fall on your lap. Hey, maybe they do. Wouldn't that be great? But got to ask for it. So just to recap everything, when you're feeling like you're drowning, get rid of that negativity, get rid of anything that you feel is not adding a positive impact or anything positive to your life. Get rid of people that are judging you or competing with you. Anything that you look at on social media that you feel is making you feel like you need to be at some certain level in your life when you're not, get rid of it because we're all at our different levels. You don't need to compare yourself to other people. And stop, take a breather and look at what exactly it is that you're really stressed about instead of thinking, I can't, I've got all this, I've got this bill, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do this. Stop, take a breather and look at each step individually instead of looking at each step as one. And last but not least, find your people. Find your people. They're there. Now, just lastly, I do want to throw out there, I have just put together another ebook by popular demand. They have been a big hit. So I've put together another one so relevant to what we have just discussed today. And it's called Your Single Parent's Guide to Prioritizing Self-Care. And it goes over little points about time management, your emotional health, and finding your support group. That is now available on the website at lifeafterplusone.com. I have that available in the show notes for you. So if you are interested, just click the link below in the show notes. And I'm going to wrap this up by saying my favorite line, I hope you got something from this. And I really do. As single parents, we all go through that stage where we think, fuck, I've had enough. I just need a break. And especially if you've 100% care of your kids or your kids are at a place where they're not wanting to go to the other parent's house and you've got that extra time and when you've got the kids and you're not getting a break, it's hard. You just want to fucking stop and you just want some time to yourself. There are ways about it and there is that light at the end of the tunnel. You've just got to learn to stop and look for it. All right, guys. Thank you again, and thank you for listening and tuning in week after week. And until next week, I'll be in your ears then. Thank you for joining us on the Life After Plus One podcast. If you loved what you heard today and looking for some further support, then jump onto our website, lifeafterplusone.com. Plus, don't forget to check out our Instagram page for further resources and inspo. You can find all the links in the show notes. And remember, you're not alone on this path. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. And in the meantime, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep exploring your amazing life after plus one.